All right, so recording has started. Thank you everyone for joining. This is our preliminary event for our Conscious Media Creator Dojo. So what we're going to be doing here, I'm just going to go over some of the intention of the space, and then I'll do a quick introduction for myself. And starting off with what the intention is, this is about being able to bring conscious creators together. In particular, this event is a preliminary event for some other conscious media creator dojos that I'm going to be building in the coming weeks. I wanted to be able to create this event to be able to invite other creators into the space, to be able to collectively gather some questions and also some idea of what are some challenges or what are some curiosities that we have related to being a conscious media creator. So there are some people here that are at different familiarities with their role as conscious media creators. And so as I go through this, we'll just kind of do, again, I'll just do a quick little introduction and kind of create the intention here as we're doing. And then from there, we'll pass it around. You guys will get a chance to be able to introduce yourself. And again, just to be able to bring any questions that you have about being a conscious media creator. And I'll just kind of like, without me, like I could be like, oh, here's a bunch of examples of questions. I literally just kind of want to like keep it as like a blank slate and just let you guys bring what it is that you want to be able to ask. And we'll answer some of the questions, but the primary focus here is, again, to kind of like be able to gather an idea of what are some of the common questions and challenges and goals that conscious media creators have. And then that information will be helpful with creating the structure for some upcoming dojo events that I'll be doing. With the dojo events, I already do have like a series of how it's going to look. And basically it's going to be through, again, a workshop once a week for the coming weeks. I'll get all the details for that mapped out, but it's going to be starting off with just the kind of developing the mindset for what it means to be a conscious media creator, being able to connect with our value, being able to connect with our why, and then just the first initial process of getting started. And then from there, the other things that I want to be able to focus on are helping people with the process of being able to create conscious community. So building online conscious community around their work. And then from there, I also want to be able to help people with the process of facilitating events. So what they can do to just be able to create both like free to join events, create membership events, ticketed events, and again, just kind of the mindset and just the way of how to be able to show up to that, promote it, etc. And then again, from there, also wanting to get into some additional dojos, which would get into more specifics for things such as like video editing, storytelling, what apps to be able to use. So that's where like I've got a roadmap, but before we even just dive into it, just from purely my limited perspective alone, I wanted to be able to host this event to be able to, as a team, kind of brainstorm what are some common questions and challenges and objectives that conscious media creators have. And then from that, we can kind of like structure a little bit more of a curriculum for the future dojos. So my name is Brendon. I've been creating conscious media and facilitating conscious community since 2009. Many of you are already familiar with what I do, but I'll just kind of say the short version. The project that I facilitate is Paradigm Shift Central. And within that, we focus on being able to help build a team of conscious media creators and supporting them on their journey of being able to step into their confidence, build their own online communities, facilitating events, and getting their inspiration out there to be able to help assist with the shift in consciousness. And so within this, it's also being able to, again, kind of like in both hands, help people just become who they're here to be, while also being able to develop more of a mindset around like being an entrepreneur. Some people are going to kind of just be like, hey, I just want to create to create. Some people are going to be like, hey, I want to be able to create to be able to do this, to be able to earn additional income. So whatever the case may be, it's helping meet the needs of different conscious creators. I do provide additional one-on-one coaching for those people who are interested. And we also have our community Patreon, and that's where people can join to be able to get involved as a member. And so that's like an $11 a month thing. Anybody here, you guys are more than welcome to get involved with that. Absolutely. And as you join that will give you access to like additional events that we do to be able to help support creators ongoing. And you can book one-on-one sessions with me as well. And even within the concept of the dojos, one of it will be even just, again, kind of like really focus on like helping people build their own Patreon. So like if I built a Patreon and it's built to be successful, helping other people build their Patreon as well is something that's super important to me, because simply put, like the more of us as conscious creators that are able to focus our energy on this, like more full time, like that helps accelerate the shift. That helps us serve community. That helps us like step further onto our path. And yeah, it's really just about being able to help inspire people, serve the community, so forth and so on. So yeah, with that said, we'll get right into things. And like I said, I want to just be able to kind of like let you guys guide this in terms of you bringing to the circle what are some general or specific questions that you have about being a conscious media creator. And please, like, don't shy away from your ignorance. Like play into the ignorance in terms of even imagining if you were brand new to this, what would be some questions that you would have. And that could be as simple as, again, it's just like how do I use TikTok? What apps do I use? How do I build a community? So I mean, those are a couple examples of some of the questions, but without me even giving those examples, I want to hear from you guys genuinely what some of the questions you have, as well as, again, even some of the challenges that maybe you've already experienced. And then through that I'll be taking notes, and that's super valuable information. And we'll go through the questions, and then we'll also, again, even just explore some of the answers here as well. But the more in-depth answers will kind of be coming through the future dojos as well. But yeah, through this event, we hope it's an opportunity to just be able to not only connect with each other, but to, again, find common interests and realize that it's like, oh, there's like actually common challenges that we have, and working together towards being able to provide solutions for those challenges. So we'll pass things around, and please feel free to briefly introduce yourself. You can just say like, oh, like, like maybe I'm new to being a conscious media creator. Maybe I've been creating conscious media for a while. I do a little bit of XYZ. And again, we'll just kind of go popcorn style. It's pretty casual here. This is pretty casual. This isn't like a super yeah, just everyone can just kind of like relax and enjoy. Think of it more as just like a brainstorm session opposed to like a workshop presentation. So thank you again, everyone, so much for joining. I wouldn't be able to do this by myself, and we'll pass it around to whoever wants to go first. So whoever wants to go first, just go ahead and put your hand up on camera if you are on camera, and we can just kind of like pass it to you, and then we can just kind of go from there. And we'll just kind of, again, kind of like vibe off each other to get an idea of where to be able to move things around. And yeah, we'll take some notes as we go. So if anybody wants to be able to go first, again, feel free to let me know. And so again, even for me to just kind of like prompt things, what have been some challenges that you've experienced in terms of being a conscious media creator? And this can not even just be technical. This can be like mindset as well. So if anybody here wants to even just, if it helps with me asking you guys that question, we can kind of do it that way as well. So if anybody even just kind of wants to vibe off that, or just what questions you guys have about being a conscious media creator, we can go from there too. So whoever wants to just kind of start off, feel free to just kind of raise your hand, and we'll pass over to you. So Kristen, welcome. And Kristen, you can go ahead and introduce yourself, and yeah, anything else after that. Welcome, Kristen.
Hi, my name's Kristen, Pinot Crazy. It's good to see all of your beautiful faces. I actually had a question that is very relevant to my own conscious creation journey, we'll say, towards where I'm at now. But I was curious, Brendon, what you had to say about the importance or the combination of being a conscious creator and a community leader. If you wanted to like talk about that. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Kristen. Can you, like, again, if we can even just kind of like list off like a few questions we got, and then we'll kind of like go back, and even if we can kind of go around the circle and just kind of create like a list of some general questions, and then we can kind of like pick and choose a few to dive into. And I'd be more than happy to just kind of practice brainstorming some answers around those particular questions. So what other questions, maybe if you even think back, Kristen, like when you were getting started as a conscious media creator, do you remember like where there was just a lot of like, how do I do this? And what those questions were like for you, if you don't mind?
Yeah, I had 1,000 questions. I think the first biggest question was like, what was the importance, like where to place my focus in growing? Because whenever you step into that role of wanting to kind of be that leader, that creator, seeing yourself step from somebody that's holding the presence of maybe an individual, as opposed to now being somebody that is an influencer or a leader within the communities. And so just really being able to see like, where does your importance lie between creating events? What's the importance of creating a ticketed event versus a free event? What does it look like to hold space for community? What does it look like to set boundaries in community? What types of creation would be like a conscious creation? How can you connect with other conscious creators to collaborate on projects? trying to think. I had so many questions. I think that's the majority of it though. Like really just kind of figuring out where you want to start. Like you can have this really big idea and this amazing thing that you want to see come forward, but like how do you get there and what steps can you take to get there? That was a lot of the stuff that I asked. So yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Kristen. And again, if anybody, like, you guys can kind of just, we'll move it around as other people feel inspired to jump in. So if there are other people be like, oh, like I relate to some of those questions, feel free to like emphasize it from your point of view. If anything that Kristen said is something where it's like, yeah, like I've had the same questions and stuff. So again, if we can just kind of go through and just kind of, I'm taking notes here and we'll just kind of mentally create this list of the different, again, questions and challenges. And like, that's the thing, right? Like, having a question just means that there's like more to be learned. And so like as a conscious creator, like that's the journey, it's to learn, right? So like from my end of things, like I've been doing conscious media creation for quite some time. I'm still learning things too, but what I want to be able to do is to create a space and to create like a, again, kind of like a workshop and a curriculum that's going to be able to help guide people through that journey of like just starting and then kind of like taking them into the confidence of facilitating community in a way that works for them. And again, helping people who have already gotten into the habit of creating conscious media to perhaps be able to take things in new directions, to be able to find the confidence in building community, building a Patreon, facilitating events, whatever the case may be. So again, even just with the questions that we're asking, the part of it is just like asking you guys, like, what do you want to do? Like, what in your mind are you like, I feel like I want to do this, but maybe I don't know what that's going to look like, or I don't know how to get there. Let me know what your aspirations are, because within that uncertainty, the aspiration, that's where the questions lie. And that's where, again, we can kind of help figure out how to be able to create some guidance there as well. So if anybody else wants to jump in, just kind of freestyle. Again, even just this is just practice as well. Passing it over to Ekua as well. Go ahead.
Hello, everyone. So one of the points Kristen brought up, I think is really good that I'm trying to figure out myself, is that the boundaries. So the boundary of if I provide a service and people are DMing me on IG, asking certain questions, how I go into like, you're asking for stuff that I charge for. So just creating that boundary of, okay, is this a potential, should we have the conversation of becoming a potential client, or is this networking or just building relationships? Another thing is I have a YouTube channel where I tell stories of different spiritual experiences that I have. And I'm also, encouraging other people to kind of step out of the spiritual closet and educating them along the way with that in a more of a story form, so I don't sound like, like I'm lecturing to them. So I am really interested in finding out what type of apps or tools I can use to edit my videos, because I'm talking about a lot of spiritual stuff like astral traveling, seeing spirits, channeling, and just things like that. I would love to create more visual elements to my stories. So I would love to find out like how I can go about doing that, things that's cost effective. And another thing is too, I'm new to this conscious creating. So how the startup process of it, Kristen mentioned, as far as like, where is my target area? Like, what do I want to focus on? And just how I pick and choose, as far as like using TikTok, like which method is more effective, TikTok, the IGTV, things like that.
Thank you so much. And yeah, again, super valuable just being able to listen to what everybody has to share here. And I'm taking notes. And for most of these here, like literally like every single question that you guys are asking, I'm like, okay, that's something I could talk on for a good 20 minutes. That's something I could talk on for a good 20 minutes. And if there is particular stuff by the end of this, once we go through some questions that we do want to just kind of as a team share some wisdom on, I do want to be able to do that. I want you guys to be able to feel like you came out of this with some aha and some realizations. Even just Ekua. Sorry, am I pronouncing that? Can you say it one more time?
Sure, Ekua.
Ekua.
Just
Okay.
Ekua. Yep, Ekua.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Got it. Ekua. So yeah, even after this, even if there's just some like particular links that I could send you for some recommendations for like video editing apps and stuff like that, I'm more than happy to be able to do that as well. And yeah, again, there's a lot to be able to talk about here. And yeah, I think those were some great, again, just kind of like showing the very real challenges of what it is to be a conscious media creator. But again, you know, like we're, as a conscious media creator, it is the journey. It's the journey to be able to like learn and figure things out as we go. So running into those challenges is, again, just another opportunity to be able to like find new solutions and find new ways of being able to navigate it. And one of the best ways to be able to do that is to like, again, be with other people that have done similar things and be like, well, this is what worked for me. You know, like, here's my wisdom, here's my insight. So knowing that you don't have to do it alone is like such a super important thing for those of us on this journey. So let's keep going around. Again, I do want to be able to honor everything that that everybody's been asking so far. So once we kind of go through everyone, then we'll kind of go back and we can focus in on some specific questions that we've kind of been asking here as well, before diving into those questions just yet. So for anybody else who wanted to be able to share, again, it's not a super huge group right now, which is totally fine because, again, we'll still be able to get a lot of information out of this. Anybody else who wanted to be able to just kind of share some challenges or questions? Demetria, yes, go ahead and welcome back.
Yeah, thank you. Hey guys, I'm Demetria. What Brendon has said, what Ekua has said, what Kristen has said, everything, I'm just like, yes, yes. I guess you could say I've had moments of like conscious creation just when I write a post online or channel through a quick little video, but really want to hone in on that a lot deeper, create a framework for it. And like you said, Brendon, make it a habit and like keep getting it out there. So my biggest challenges up to this point, being conscious as one and just not having community has been a huge thing. And then on the next level of that, being a conscious creator and not having community. So I'm really, one of the challenges having so much kind of circulating up here and trying to figure out how to get it out and in to something. And I've been kind of sitting on different ideas for years now. And now really feeling the call to like bring it down and move it forward. So with all that, I know support in having a framework, but also just like the first place to start, like sifting through all of this up here and kind of compartmentalizing it and making it efficient to get it out, is what I'm feeling most challenged with, because then it just results in overwhelm for me, like so much. I'm like, where do I start? Yeah, that's pretty much it. And then too, having community and other people just like bounce ideas off of and get clarity on. Yeah, that's where I'm at. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you, Demetria. Cool. Yeah. Okay. So I'm again just kind of like intuitively moving us through here. If there's anybody else who did want to be able to share, then we can pass it over to you. Jessica, did you want to jump in?
Yeah.
Yeah,
hi. I'm Jess. Definitely new to all of this. I've really only been writing for like 3 months, if that. But I think that writing is probably my clearest path. I mean, there's other things that I'm interested in, but I'm not really sure where to start either. But mainly, what I do have the most of and what I feel like that I could continue doing would be writing, poetry or stuff like that, songs possibly. I don't know what to do with it. You know, I've, filled this book up almost in 3 months, and I just don't know what to do with all of it. So that's, yeah, that's my question.
Thank you, Jess. And is it sorry, George? George? Did you want to share anything? I apologize if I'm getting my names mixed up. But if you want to share anything, feel free. Yeah, I can see your mic's unmuted. Go ahead, and you can stay off video. That's totally fine. Oh, I don't think we can hear you right now, so I'm not sure if you need to do something. Oh, okay, there we go. Hey, dude.
Hi.
Okay, we can hear you.
Now you can hear me. It's
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Go for it. Welcome.
Hi, I'm George. I'm on the starting point. I don't know nothing about. I have my drawings. I have my writings too. But where to start? That's where I'm stuck. It's like an art blockage because I may have the ideas. I may have the small knowledge in there, but it has been difficult to me to get it out there, to make sense of not sense, but making it public. Yeah, that's the point. Making it public, it's not awkward for me. It's more kind of a where to put it, where to make it public. I've tried Twitter, that didn't help. I tried Reddit. Nah, for the memes it's okay, but not for this. And that's where I'm at. I don't know where to start, how to start. Anything that you can all help me with? Thank you.
Thank you, George. And I'm glad you were able to make it. Good to see you, dude. So cool. Okay, let's, what I'm feeling called to do, I'd like to kind of create a little exercise out of this where I want each person, maybe even in the same order that we did this in originally, to practice communicating what it is that you want to be able to accomplish, like in either, you know, like you could put some arbitrary days, say like in 3 months from now, but really just in general, like to the best of your ability. And it's okay if you don't have full clarity. Like that's totally fine. You're not expected to have full clarity on this. You know, a big thing that I help people with is helping get that clarity. But from where you are right now, to the best of your ability, if you can just kind of practice communicating, like what are the things that you want to be able to do, and go big with it. You know, like really even just say like I want to be earning income from this. I want to do this full time. I want to host events. I want to build a community. I want to build Discord. I want to be able to have, you know, like 5,000 followers on Instagram. I want to make a viral video for TikTok. I want to build a small community. I want to build a big community. I want to host regular meditations. I want to do like a variety of different like workshops, whatever the case may be. You know, those are just some general ideas. And if those are some of your answers, that's totally fine. But I'd love to just be able to invite people here, just based on where they're at, to give yourself the opportunity to just kind of check in with your heart. Because one thing that's very powerful about being on this journey as a conscious media creator is I invite each of you to really be able to like focus on feeling the future. You've already started on this path, and you're on this path because there is a path that you are still on. And down that path, further down that path, there are like more things that you're going to accomplish. There are other things that you're going to build. And so if we can kind of just tap into like the connection between this present moment and those future things that we've created and built and everything like that, we can actually feel it through our heart. And so that's where, again, you know, what I want to be able to help do is help you guys just kind of really be able to begin envisioning the possibility and the potential of what that could look like, and go big with it, like really go big with it. Because I think for many of us as conscious media creators, you know, as some of us have kind of been sharing, it's just like, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know how to get there, but forget about the how. Let's just focus on what there looks like, what it feels like. And if we can just kind of practice talking about that, again, this is also like valuable information that I'll be taking notes on, but it's also a little exercise for you guys to just be able to be like, well, what do I want? What do I want to do? And even if you're just like, you know what, I'm kind of figuring out as I go, that's okay. But really just invite yourself to be able to practice kind of like envisioning that big idea of where you might want to be in 6 months from now. And again, you know, that might be something where it's like, I want to be able to build a Patreon with like 50 Patreon supporters, have like a monthly membership, host online events, be doing one-on-one coaching, do this part-time or full-time job. Or it may literally be just like, you know what, I just want to be able to do this as a side hobby and reach more people and engage with those who appreciate the content and the art that I want to create. So you can kind of find like which path it is that you want to take. So, and that path will change over time. So Kristen, did you want to practice doing that? And then we'll pass it around after that.
Sure. Everything you just said, no, I want to create, well, okay, let me focus real quick. Like overarching goal is to create spiritual healing retreats, in person. And that's like overarching big goal. The goal underneath that would be to have my Patreon have, X amount of Patreon subscribers to be able to support myself, to be doing it full time. And also within that Patreon, having a cohesive, small knit community that supports one another and shares wisdom, helping along the healing journey, holding one-to-one healing sessions with Reiki, as well as holding group healing sessions. I really liked the course I did. I'm currently working on a self-empowerment course, so hopefully in the next 6 months I'll have that produced. Yeah, that's my goals.
Awesome. Thank you, Kristen. And who would like to go next? If we want to pass it to anybody else? Yes, go for it.
Yay. All right. So for me, I definitely want to build my community. So I provide a service. So I want to build my community, set it up where it's consistent income as far as clients. I would like for my content to inspire people and give doses of inspiration in ways that they can tap into their own spiritual abilities. I definitely want to host events virtually and in person, and then do more content as far as like build my YouTube channel, and like Kristen said and you said as well, but in the long run, host my own spiritual retreats. Yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah, those are all great answers. And again, you can start to see how like there are multiple people, like just between Kristen and you can kind of see it, be like, oh, like we're kind of doing similar things, right? So like that's where, again, like just being able to learn from each other is so valuable, because like Kristen has kind of been building things and you may just be kind of like still getting started on a couple things. So where can we kind of like share the wisdom? And again, what I want to be able to do to the best of my ability as like again, kind of a coach and a teacher and stuff, is to be able to give you guys a little bit of the roadmap and to be able to create that personal roadmap for you, where a lot of that is even just like stuff that we can do through one-on-one sessions, where it will give you those next steps to be able to be like, okay, like here's like 5 steps ahead that I want to be able to accomplish in order to get to those bigger visions. Because again, I've kind of said this before, like it's great to have those bigger visions, but you're only going to get there one step at a time. So it's like, how do we kind of just take those next steps? And I think when we get clarity on what those next steps can be, it really just kind of helps release a little bit of like the pressure that we may be feeling as well. So that was great. Thank you so much for the feedback there. And again, I'm writing down just kind of more notes here as well. Demetria, did you want to go next? Go for it.
Yes, thank you. So next 6 months or so, I want to be continuing to give one-on-one sessions full time. And I want to, what do I want? Create a community, definitely. Continue to teach psychic development, intuitive development, hold events, free events, paid events. Also would love to hold some retreats at some point too. provide value. So really figure out kind of what free content I put out there habitually, like you said, and then coupling that with my one-on-one services, and also with group circles, teachings, development, and tap into writing. That's another intention of mine. I don't think I'm quite there yet, but that's another one. And ultimately get paid well for the value I bring to the world, and support people in their own awakening journeys, and support people through that. So that's what I see right now. Kind of different compartments of the whole. But ultimate goal is to fill my schedule all day, every day with all of this, and make it my full-time career.
Awesome. Beautiful feedback there. And yeah, like, I think, again, as we're kind of seeing, you know, like when it comes to being a conscious creator, it's an interesting challenge. Like I've it's kind of like, there's this quote, and it's basically like, it's like, there's two things in life that will teach you the most about who you are. It's like, number one, a relationship. Number two, being an entrepreneur. You know, because like when you're an entrepreneur, it's like, it's only like, it's up to you, right? Like you're fully responsible for kind of like navigating and figuring things out. And the challenge of being, again, not just an entrepreneur, but a conscious creator who's building these many things, is that you're wearing multiple hats. So I think it's important to just kind of like keep things simple enough for us to be able to manage and to know that it can be done in a simple way. So that's where, again, you know, what I like to be able to help people focus on is also being able to help create like the framework and the structure. And then from there, it's creating the container for the rhythm and the routine to be able to just naturally flow, where it's like, oh, okay, like every week I have this type of event, and every so-and-so we're doing, again, kind of like private one-on-one sessions, and you find a natural container for where to be able to move this energy through. Because one thing that I've noticed with, and this is, George was kind of saying this, and even Jessica was kind of saying this, all of us were kind of saying this, where, you know, we feel like we have like all of these ideas that are kind of up there, but then it's like we don't have the channel for that to kind of move through, and then it kind of creates this blockage, and it's just kind of like, oh, what do I do with this, right? So like, the goal, the way to accomplish that is to be able to like create that channel of expression, create that rhythm, create that routine, and that, it'll change over time, right? Like that's the thing with being a conscious media creator. Like there's stuff that I've done that, you know, I would do for a good period of time, and then it would evolve as technology evolves. So it's like the willingness to adapt. But I think with a lot of, you know, with the three of you who have just spoke, there is like kind of a simplicity where it's like, okay, like I'm creating a tight-knit community, I'm hosting intentional events, I'm doing one-on-one sessions, and I'm building something related, something like akin to like a membership community. And then amidst that, I'm creating inspirational content, I'm providing a lot of value and inspiring people. And then again, you know, like your content that you're creating, where it is you like sharing your heart song, it's you like sharing what you're passionate about, like all of that is an invitation for people to be able to connect further. So I think when you kind of have those structures in place, it gives you a little bit more confidence to be able to put that content out there, and then giving people the permission to really like feel what it is that you're putting out, to feel who you are and be like, oh, like I really like this person, I like the way they explain things, I relate to what they talk about, I see themselves in their story, I see myself in their story. And then having those gentle call to actions to be able to say like, oh, like, you know, if this is something you're interested in, we've got an upcoming event, I'd love for you guys to be able to join, come in, take part. And then out of that, you know, it gives them an experience. And then out of that, you know, like, hey, and if you want to connect further, there's a membership and there's an online community. Again, very much like it's a template that you can see that even just myself, like there's a version of it that we're doing right here, where right here we've created this free event. It's bringing people together who share a common interest. And then there's also the invitation, it's like, if you guys want to connect further, the option's there for you as well. So there is kind of like these templates and these rhythms, but those templates are something that we fill with our unique expression, our unique version. So even though we may be doing similar things, it's all going to be unique based on the way we do it. But there is definitely a consistent way to be able to accomplish things when it comes to the tactics of the way that you create events, when you create events, how you create like a community through using like a Discord, which again is something that I help people with. Just a lot of like the back end management. You can see how being a conscious creator, a lot of it is very much like this Capricorn energy where it's like you have to create the frameworks and the structures. And then when you do that, it gives you room to play. It gives you room to kind of like be creative and get a little bit more experimental while still bringing it back to that grounded place where it's like, here's the consistency of what it is that we're creating. So let's keep going around. And Jessica and George, if there's anything that you guys want to practice sharing just related to like, what do you feel you would like to, where would you like to be related to your conscious media creation, you know, in a few months from now in the future? And then what I want to do as we get close to wrapping this up, I want you guys to just kind of pick like one question that you want to be able to ask, and either myself or the group, and we'll do our best to kind of like provide some sort of answer and feedback for that. So Jessica, did you want to go next? Go ahead. Yes.
Currently I'm just kind of doing this as my own healing outlet. So I'm not quite, you know, if I can create this stuff just for my own well-being and for my own healing process and somehow get it out there in a more organized, you know, prettier way, that would be awesome. But as far as like, eventually I would love for this to be like my career, you know, but I'm not sure if that's quite in the works for me yet. So just pretty much doing this for fun. I mean, yeah, it would be awesome if I could, you know, get paid to write poems, but you know, so yeah, but that's pretty much where I'm at. Yeah, just wanting to learn how to put it out there, you know, visually and such. So
Thank you, Jessica. And again, that's so important what you've shared there, because again, I think at the core of what each and every single one of us are doing, we need to make sure that we don't get too far away from the idea of understanding that like what we are creating, as much as it's serving community and the people who see our content, it's our journey, you know, like through the process of like creating that new video, creating that new post and everything like that. It gives a chance for us to be able to tap into more of our creative expression. There were many, many years before like I started to adapt more of a, oh no, I have to be able to make sure I'm earning money off this or otherwise it becomes hard for me to do, where it was very much just like, I'm doing this because I want to do this. I'm doing this because it's helping me grow. It's helping me channel my creativity. I'm learning, I'm experimenting, I'm playing, I'm having fun, and it really, really helped me. So again, for those of us who are kind of just doing it for that reason, like that's super powerful. And I think there's a lot of freedom there. And then again, to also be able to move into the place where it's like opening up to be able to think like, oh, well, how could I earn income from this? And that's where, you know, for yourself, Jessica, there may be some possibilities where you might want to be able to like host some sort of like semi-private events that could be small ticketed events, that could be even just kind of like a poetry creating workshop where you're kind of like holding space for others. And that's the thing, you know, like there's a lot of value that each and every single one of you can create through the development of your ability to be able to hold space. It doesn't always mean that, you know, you have to be able to bring all of this wisdom and insight into every single space that you hold, but it literally can just be about creating the space and the intention, and you filling the role of the facilitator, and then again, people coming in and finding value in the fact that you've gone out of your way to be able to create the intention and the time and the energy that makes this space available for others. So yeah, I think again, you know, for Jessica, I think there's definitely a lot to just be able to explore there, and like finding new ways to be able to incorporate your poetry into a form of creative expression. And maybe that, you know, maybe that is like kind of like something that could be explored through different types of like editing techniques and editing apps. Even imagining something that this is like a simple kind of like little exercise where it could be something such as like going out in nature and like filming some B-roll. Like B-roll would just be like footage of, you know, various things, and then bringing that back and editing it and like adding a voiceover to it, and then adding a little bit of music to it. And again, you know, like if people see it, awesome. But even just for you to be able to look at it and be like, whoa, like this is a part of myself that I brought into the world, and it's actually a part of my healing journey to be able to practice expressing it. And then you start to develop a little bit more of a confidence to be able to think like, oh, okay, like I can see myself doing this again. So again, you know, like for Jessica, like I think there's definitely a lot of ways to just kind of begin exploring new ways of expressing your creative art, your creative energy. And that's stuff that we can definitely like talk more about. But I think, again, you know, that's one of the beauties of video editing, is that the only limit to video editing is your imagination. So once you become familiar with video editing and you know the resources and the apps that I use, you know, there's like stock footage built into it, and you can always go out and film. You can film things and add like cool Mandela effects and stuff like that can kind of be used for generic like backgrounds and visualizations, and even creating like another thing, you know, for anybody here, for Jessica and anybody here, even creating like a video that could be like kind of like a short meditation, but then you're like working in with some video editing that creates like kind of like a generic kind of like Mandela effect. And then you're finding a way to be able to add in your voice and adding in a little bit of music and stuff like that. Like it's all totally possible, right? So I think when it comes to a lot of the media creation, you know, even just kind of pretending that it's like, oh, like we're in like a school classroom together. This is like art class. Like create for the purpose of creating. Like create to just be able to be like, oh, this is cool. I'm bringing something into this world. I think it's important that with anything we do, that we bring it back to a place of play, a place of experimentation. And because I think when we do kind of be like, oh, well, I got to make money off this, it can happen where we kind of stray away from the play. So when we bring ourselves back to the play, not only is that helpful for us, but it's super helpful for the people who are watching our content, because they'll feel that. They'll be like, oh, like this person's having, you know, like you can tell there's kind of like this energy and there's this experimentation and this desire to express themselves. And that can be more inspiring for other people than you may even realize. So let's just keep things going around. We're going to keep an eye on the time, and then I want to be able to get into a couple questions. George, did you want to practice sharing just kind of like a general idea of where you'd like to see things at for yourself in the coming months related to your content? Go ahead, George.
Okay, thank you. In 6 months, I think about making a strong community. Not strong, but yeah, strong. You can do whatever you set your mind to. Basically that, a community, because all the knowledge, all the ideas we can have. You said it. I started doing it for myself, but I don't know. I wasn't happy with the results. I wasn't happy with the idea of it. I just made a post and a video. I didn't upload it or something like that. Just if I could do it, I did do it, but stuck. I don't know where, as if the road has been vanished. I had the ideas, I had the pursuit of doing it, the sharing the growth that I've been doing, the shadow work this awesome Mercury had. I don't know, just the need to help. I know that secondly, it will be awesome to make a living out of it. But the main reason that I want to do it is to share what I thought, share what I think, share what I'm going, to see if anyone can relate to it, and I can learn from them and they can learn from me. It's a give and take. I do it for the knowledge.
That's awesome, George. Thank you so much. And it just, again, I can feel us just kind of like lighting up as we talk about it. And yeah, I think absolutely, George, you know, like there is 100% like the possibility to be able to create community around what it is that you're passionate about sharing, your art. And yeah, we'll definitely talk more about that. And that's where, again, you know, like helping you guys with something such as being able to get more familiar with Discord and how to create community on Discord, and then how to be able to connect that into your Instagram, and then using your Instagram to direct people to that, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There's ways to it. Like myself and a bunch of other people have done it. So there's definitely possibilities there as well. So keeping an eye on the time. Thank you everyone so much. This has been wonderful just to be able to get everybody's feedback here. Let's just go around one more time. And if you guys can just pick one question that you'd like me to be able to give some feedback on, and perhaps other people from the community will have some feedback on as well. Let's do that. And then we'll wrap things up probably, I would say 15 minutes after the hour, unless if anybody needs to head out early, that's totally fine. Kristen, did you want to pick a particular question? I know you did have that initial question, but you let me know if there's something else that comes to mind.
I think the big question in my heart right now is like, I guess like what would be a way to find cohesiveness within the community spaces that you hold that is beneficial for the community? I guess I'm like trying to figure out how to, like, okay, is there a way to connect with the community to figure out if what you're creating is meeting the needs of the community, or is it more important to just focus on like what George said, where it's like you're creating for yourself, so just staying in alignment with that and knowing that those that are meant to be there will come, or is it more of like trying to meet the needs of the community that already exists? I think.
That's a great question. And again, you know, like that's kind of one of those questions that it's like, as you've been building community, like it's a good problem to have, because it means you've been doing it long enough that things have kind of changed and shifted. And with that, it's giving you the option to be able to reflect. So I think if anything, you know, in a situation like that, I think it's important to be able to develop a relationship with your community members where you do feel confident to even just direct message them and just be like, hey, working on being able to create things for upcoming events. Please I'd love to be able to receive any feedback that you have. What have been things that you've enjoyed? What are some things you would like to see more of? So creating even just like a little questionnaire, like maybe just like 2 or 3 questions, and then just giving them an opportunity to be able to provide that feedback. And then with that, you can be able to kind of like see where their needs are and then balance that out with where your highest excitement is too. Because I think it's important that whatever you're doing is in alignment with your highest excitement. Well, again, also, like you said, also being able to pay attention, because this has happened with me before too, where like, you know, I would do some events and it would be in my highest excitement and I would do it and do it. And then eventually, you know, like the community would maybe just like the response for the events would just kind of become a little bit more quiet. And then I would take that and I'd be like, okay, it looks like it's ready to change it up. You know, it's ready to kind of like move things into a new direction. And so I would use that as data and information. And I wouldn't be too hurt by it. It would just be like, this was working. And then as energies shift and as people shift, and honestly, it's an astrology thing. It's like a cosmic thing. The needs change throughout the different times of the years. And I think it's important for us to even just take time to kind of like ask that question of what is needed. This is such a big thing. You'll hear me mention this many, many times for each of us, to just be able to ask that question, like what is needed? What is needed within the broader community, as well as what is needed perhaps within my specific community. And so I think having the relationship where you can be comfortable with asking people is very important. This could be something that you could put up as a group question into your Discord channel. It could even be something that you put up onto a video, or like I said, it could be something where you just kind of like direct message people with as well. But when it comes to community, like absolutely, just being able to check in with people and let them know that their interests are important to you is super, super important, because it does build a good, valuable relationship between yourself as a leader and, again, more people that are just continuing to get involved with this as well. And lo and behold, that's exactly what we're doing here, right? In many ways. So I hope even just by me doing this creates like a bit of an example of kind of how, like before, like, cause I'm like, okay, I want to create these events, but I'm like, before I do that, I want to gather more data. I want to hear from everyone else and just kind of get a bigger scope on things, because we have to admit that we don't see everything. Like there's not every single thing that we can see. So being able to ask those questions and create the space, and even again, you know, like we've done this within Paradigm Shift where sometimes we literally just do team meetings, and I'll ask you guys and I'll just be like, can you guys give me like an action report? Like how has it been? Like, let me know how I've been. You know, it's kind of like just kind of like an evaluation period. It's like, how has my performance been? And people will be like, oh, this has been working. Maybe a little bit more of this, a little bit less of that. And that's super, super valuable. So even if it is like something where it is kind of like a little team meeting, that's not so much a specific event, but it's literally just designed to be able to help them decide on what it is that you want to be able to create as a community. That's up to you. But at the same time, knowing that it's okay for you to make the executive decision, for you to use that as input and value, but it's still your role to be able to kind of like use that to be able to say, you know what, within my heart, we're going to move in this direction. And maybe we'll move in this direction until it feels like we're going to move into another direction. And it's okay to change as you go. Having that flexibility is super important as a community facilitator, while also kind of like having those again, kind of like a bit of a plan for what's still to come, so people can kind of like get excited about what's coming as well. So does that make sense, Kristen? Do you feel like that would like for yourself, do you feel like you can kind of like maybe do some of the things that I said to help you get the information you need?
Absolutely. Thank you, Brendon. I'm already thinking of like SurveyMonkey or like a Zoom call.
Totally.
Or something. So yeah.
Totally. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the way to go about it. And yeah, and just being, you know, as frank and open, and just be like, hey team, working on creating some upcoming awesome events for the community. What are some things you guys would like to do more of? And give them, and even if you give them a few options, you know, it's like, do you want more of this, or this? And kind of like let them almost like vote on it in a way, and then use that to gather and stuff like that. So yeah, cool. Okay, cool. Does anybody else have anything they want to share related to that? We'll just give a chance. If otherwise, we'll just keep passing around and give you guys a chance to ask any questions you may have as well. Okay. Ekua. Did I do it right? Was that close enough?
Right.
Okay, I got it that time. I'm like so self-conscious about that. So, any question that you would like to ask? Particular question?
Yeah, because with my channel, like I just started, I do believe last month. So for me, it's more so finding the community that want my services. And then the second thing is the video editing. Like I'm really excited about that. I would love to learn like what's a good editing software or app, and then to add those visual effects to it.
Perfect. Okay, so the first part there about like kind of like finding the community, because like your Instagram page, like you have, it's still like growing. Like it's still something that it's like, how many followers do you have, give or take? Not that numbers are the most important thing, but it's like
I think I have like 98.
Yeah, like it's still within.
I
it's
just
still
started
within
like last month.
That's awesome though. Like that's still great. You know, like you're still just kind of like building things. So finding the community. Yeah, and again, you know, like even within what we create within Paradigm Shift Central, like a big part of it is that we've created a nexus so that people can kind of like share the collective audience of what we've built here. So within Paradigm Shift Central, like we've literally created the space where, say for yourself, if you've got a new video or an event, we would plug it through the community and we would invite people and be like, hey, like check out Ekua is doing an event coming up this weekend and you're invited to be able to join, and people will start to become familiar. And so absolutely, like within our community, we use the space to help feature creators so that the collective audience is kind of a shared audience. In addition to that, you know, I think one thing that I definitely want to do moving forward is within our community, I do want to be able to do more shared lives with the members. So have the opportunity where basically you guys come onto my IG and I'll basically kind of like interview you and kind of ask you like who are you? What do you do? What services do you offer? What are your upcoming events? And give you guys a chance to just kind of introduce yourself. And I want to do that again, kind of as an experimentation to help bring more people to your guys' content as well. And the other question I had, like, are you on TikTok yet, or are you just on Instagram?
I am, because I have 2 YouTube channels. So the Inner Spirit 11, 11 is the one that I just created. I have another one that I've been on for years. So that one is on TikTok, not the Inner Spirit one.
Okay, so what's the TikTok account? The username?
It's Inner Beauty Styles with a Z at the end. So instead of a S at the end, it's a Z.
Okay, and
Inner Beauty Styles.
do you feel that, like, is that kind of in alignment with like the services that you're like offering related to like the spirituality and everything like that? That's kind of its own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think even there, you know, like I wouldn't hesitate from literally just starting a new TikTok account that's like consistent with like what you want to be able to present yourself with. And even, you know, for yourself, because since you are pretty new to things, like even right now, like your user account, like inner_spirit 1111, I think there's definitely some opportunity there for us to just kind of like brainstorm like a specific handle that's like more unique to you, you know, something that when people see it, like it says who you are and it gives them an idea who you are and what you do as well. Like right now, like seeing Inner Spirit 1111, it's a cool username. It doesn't really tell me much about what you offer or something like that. So I think just being open to the idea of making some little tweaks within, again, what we would refer to as branding, and then having that as like something that if you do have a TikTok account that's consistent with that, and then even just spending a little time, and Kristen will tell you all about this, where if you just focus even just like a few weeks on creating content on TikTok, studying other creators, seeing what they're doing, adding your own flair, bringing your own excitement into that. And then through there, like lo and behold, when you use TikTok, it's like a dice roll. You know, you'll use it and then lo and behold, like one of the videos like gets like a good amount of reach. And then with that, that becomes an invitation back to your Instagram, which comes an invitation back to your services, back to your community, back to your one-on-one stuff as well. So putting yourself out there is definitely really important. But before you put yourself out there, I think there's going to be like a couple things that you could do to just kind of like readjust, again, kind of like the branding, so to speak, and then creating that consistency between an Instagram and a TikTok. But literally just like focusing on being able to kind of like put a little bit of energy towards TikTok can definitely go a long way. And then with the YouTube, I've used YouTube for a lot. It's still honestly a bit of a mystery to me in terms of how it works. But one thing that I would recommend is whatever you're uploading to YouTube, I would also upload it to Instagram, or at least upload some preview clips onto your Instagram. You don't want things that are like you said, you want to put more energy into editing on YouTube. You don't want it to just be on YouTube if the primary audience is really on Instagram. Really, it kind of works like, it kind of like works where it's like Instagram's kind of like a primary portal. TikTok leads people to Instagram, and then Instagram leads people to YouTube. And then Instagram also leads people to your services and your one-on-one stuff as well. It's not, from my own experience, like putting too much energy into YouTube is something that you just want to be mindful of, because it can be challenging to grow a YouTube account. Especially in today's day and age. That's something I need to kind of like probably go back and study a whole bunch of stuff about in terms of how to really be able to master YouTube. But ultimately, you want to put your content where your audience is. So your YouTube is great to have as like an archive where you can have the content there, and then people, you know, once they've landed on your Instagram, even just after you've uploaded some videos, you know, you add it to your link tree, or you can send it as a DM to people, and then people go there who are literally like, you know, who are really curious. They're like, oh, well, I do want to see more. I do want to explore more. And again, having the YouTube is great just for your own creative outlet as well. So yeah, figuring out like how you want to use each platform would be really, really important as well. And then again, you know, as you get things going, you don't need a big community in order to start creating the success that you want. So even with the community that you have now, doing little things like going live every now and then, having, you know, like Q&As or meditations or some sort of service that you provide that's preferably on a bit of a routine and a schedule through your Instagram, since you can go live on there right now, is a great way for people to get to see you, to get to know you. And then again, through there, to be able to invite them. What you could do eventually is to have that community space. And that's where you can have the Discord server. And then that's where you start connecting with people and creating, again, kind of like that tight-knit community. And then if you got some events, then you can use the events to kind of like lead people between the others. And even as you're doing that, and again, this, everything I'm saying, like, I hope this is also information. I know, you know, for anybody here, Demetria, I hope this is also stuff that even for you can be like, oh, okay, I can see this being helpful. Where again, you know, what I would recommend, you know, and this is stuff that if you're looking to brainstorm some more, I'd be more than happy to, where spending a little bit of time, like even like getting more clarity on creating your Patreon and creating your Discord. So it's there, so it's set up, and then you kind of start bringing people into it. I've seen this happen with people, and it kind of like breaks my heart where they'll like go like, they'll suddenly like blow up on TikTok, and then they'll be like, oh my God, like I need a Patreon ASAP, or I need a Discord ASAP. And then they're kind of like scrambling to kind of like build things that they could have had built before. So it's like, if you spend a little bit of time building a Discord, starting it off slow, really just kind of putting the intention into it, having a Patreon there with your membership thing, and then every live that you're doing, every event that you're doing, it's also the invitation to say like, well, we've got our exclusive membership, we've got our exclusive events coming up, and you're inviting people to connect to you through DMs. And then you're just kind of like really focusing on those individual relationships, because even with like 100 people on your Instagram, no doubt there's people on there that with the right opportunity would be happy to DM you and learn a little bit more about what you have to offer. So focusing on the individual relationships is always going to be what will lead you to success. You'd rather have, you know, like 10 people who are really into what you do opposed to like 1,000 people who are just kind of meh sort of thing. So really focusing on the individual relationships and yeah, and then creating, like I said, kind of like that Capricorn energy of having the space to kind of like direct the community toward. So it's like, now that we've got people on my Instagram and my Instagram's growing and the TikTok's growing, I'm confident in being able to say, hey, if you want to connect further, join the Patreon, connect to our Discord server, take part in the upcoming events. And then you kind of find that rhythm without having to depend and being like, oh, like I can't be successful until the Instagram blows up sort of thing. It's like you already build this success around the back end, and then you're just focusing on the relationship of who's there, and more people will just show up as you keep doing that, but you don't need it to blow up quick in order to be successful. That's what I'm getting off the top of my head. Does that make sense? Or do you have any other quick questions related to that? Was that helpful?
That was very helpful. Thank you.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah. Happy to help. And again, you know, like within our community, like totally here to be able to like help you with like the details of building the Discord, building the Patreon and stuff like that. So yeah, that's definitely stuff that we can talk more about. And again, you know, like, cause I was saying like with Kristen, you started off on TikTok, like within the community, and now your TikTok's like, how many, what are you at? Like 20K, a million K? What are you at, Kristen?
20K, yeah.
Are you really? Wow, I was like, hadn't checked it in a while, so that's awesome. That's so cool. So yeah. Well, there you go. So, and that's the thing.
I
go
will
ahead,
say
Kristen.
too,
Yeah.
like if you want me to speak on that vein of like just seeing the utilizing the different platforms, like I kind of use each platform for a different purpose. So like my YouTube, I have like the longer content, the deeper stuff, or like the readings, but then I'll use TikTok to really get that like outreach, because you've got to think TikTok people only have like 15 seconds, like really 15 seconds is what you've got to get somebody's interest. And like, Yuki, I can already see that you've got like something you could say in 15 seconds that is going to make me be like, wait, I want to see more. Like, what can I learn more from her? And then you have your link there where people can connect to your YouTube and your Instagram. And it gives people the opportunity to like make that choice to connect with you further. And when they do that, it's forming that like relationship of like, I am curious about your content. I've kind of followed you to other platforms. And then that's kind of where you'll get those, what Brendon was talking about, like the smaller group of people that you're more close knit with. But yeah, super TikTok's like he says, like really random and weird, but it does really help. So.
Totally. Thanks.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. And again, and we can, with what we kind of help people with in the community is like, even if you're like doing events through Zoom, eventually you can get familiar with broadcasting from Zoom to your YouTube. And then your YouTube becomes a place where it's like a recording of some of the events that you do as well. So there's a lot of opportunity there to be able to kind of connect them all in. And again, just kind of going back to your username. So right now, like inner spirit, off the top of my head, I would just kind of encouraging opening up to the idea that maybe, you know, there's like one more word that you could add to that. So it's like inner spirit guidance, or inner spirit alchemy, or inner spirit enlightenment, something like that. Cause I think like that last word on the end kind of gives like a little bit more of like, it's almost, it like adds like the verb of action. Whereas like inner spirit right now is just kind of like a noun. So it's like, what about inner spirit? Inner spirit integration, or something like that, right? And then for people like, oh, like I get what this is about. She's not saying she is an inner spirit, but this is about like well, you are, but this is about helping other people do XYZ with their inner spirit, relating to their inner spirit, or something like that. So yeah, see, just kind of like open up to meditating on that, and write down some words and be like, oh, like which ones sound cool. And again, feel free to send me a direct message, or anybody else, and we can kind of brainstorm and stuff together. And then that way, you know, with your YouTube and stuff, because I just subscribed to your YouTube, and here I'll post your YouTube into the chat here so everybody else can subscribe. You know, that way it's not like you're like totally rebranding or anything like that. It's like already just kind of, you know, adding to what it is that you've got. So how does that feel?
Oh, I love it. That sounds really good. Yeah, I definitely, I resonate with that, giving it a action at the end of inner spirit. Yeah, to give it more of a clear understanding what it is that I do. So I would definitely meditate on that, and I'll be reaching out to you when I come up with some ideas and kind of just seeing how you feel about it.
Cool.
Oh, thank you, guys. Awesome.
No problem. This has been good. And this is, again, you know, this is exactly what our dojo is about, is like kind of like bringing action into and ideas together. So very cool. Cool. Is there anything, and again, for the editing, you're on iPhone right now, I can see. So I would download the app called Video Leap. So I just typed into the chat there. That would be like, that editing app is like the best video editing app that I've come across on iPhone. I know there's like a lot of video editing apps, but like honestly, this one I would stick with. And within that one, it actually does have like built-in stock image. So like you can literally use it in a way where you can like start, you can open it and you can like run some searches on like all sorts of stuff. So I'm just kind of like showing here. So like this is like stock image stuff. So there's like a bunch of stuff that you can already start to play with. And then you can like run searches, and it's got access to a few things. And then you would like click one, and then it like downloads like right into your file. And then through there again, you know, like you could, if you want to, you can like literally do your editing just on your iPhone. Is that where you're doing your editing currently? Is it?
Yeah.
Just do, yeah. So you could literally like have that just to be able to like add in a little bit extra with the stuff that you're filming as well. So yeah. So I would play with that. So.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem. Cool. And again, for anybody else, yeah, Video Leap. If you're on iPhone, definitely get that. The other app that, and I always recommend these, but the other app that I would recommend for like graphics and stuff is Adobe Spark, which is also really good for graphics. Or Spark Post. It kind of changed its name, Spark Post. So, okay. Let's just kind of keep an eye on time. Thank you guys so much for hanging out here. This has been wonderful for myself, and I hope everybody else is feeling like they're getting some value out of this as well. And Demetria, pass it over to you. Is there a particular question you want to be able to just kind of run past the group?
There is. I'll tell you guys, I have to bail out in like 1 minute. So I'll answer or ask it really quick, but I'll have to leave at 2:20. With everything that we've said in regards to creating a container and a framework for all of this stuff, what is the one thing I can do to start? Just one thing.
Start towards which objective? Just like building community, et cetera,
Yeah, like all of it. Just one.
Talk to me more, and we'll do some more brainstorming and stuff like that. Yeah.
Schedule a session.
Yeah. Because the last session we did, like, there's definitely stuff that we kind of got, but yeah, we can go into details as need be. I think again, even what we were saying, kind of like figuring out like a name for you, you know, like something that you can energetically kind of like sit on. and be like, okay, this is what I feel. And then eventually just like creating like, you know, changing your Instagram. And then maybe if you want to create that TikTok profile with that same name. And then just kind of like, even on TikTok, just go on TikTok, run a search on like hashtag spiritual and start studying other creators and get inspired by them. And then start thinking about like, write out a list of like the things that you want to share in your content, and then just kind of take some swings at creating that and stuff like that. So yeah, and then there's other stuff, but I mean, yeah, we can talk more about that another day. So.
Okay. So one action, I'll slide in your DM. That'll be my action.
That's, sure. That's good. So,
cool.
Okay.
Thank you guys so much. I will, I'll see you guys later. I'm going to head out.
Sounds good. Thanks for joining.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, cool. And yeah, I'll have to make sure that you guys are connected. I'll just post Demetria's profile here. I'll post Ekua's link there. I'm like, am I saying it wrong? Okay. And here's
You're fine.
Okay. Close enough. Okay. And I'm just posting everybody's links into the chat, so you guys don't have to worry about that. I've got you covered. And yeah, let's just take another minute here. Jessica, George, was there anything that you guys wanted to ask in terms of a question, and then we'll get wrapped up?
Nope. Pretty much just start editing for my poems and stuff.
Cool. And Jessica, are you on iPhone or Android?
iPhone.
Okay, so you can download the Video Leap app, so that's good news. So I would definitely download that and just play around with it, use some of the stock footage, and honestly, like in literally just playing with that for like an hour, you'll be like, whoa, this is opening up some like new possibilities for me. So,
okay.
Cool.
Awesome. I'm actually gonna head out too.
Okay, we're just about that anyway.
So much. Okay.
Thank you as well, Jessica. Good to see you.
Thank you. You all have a good day.
Cool. Okay, and George, anything you just want to ask real quick? Go ahead.
Yeah. Where do all your how's it ask? Any books, any YouTube channels that you follow? Where do you keep your information update? Any authors that might change the way you think? I don't know. Where that someone can study these subjects?
And when you say these subjects, do you mean kind of like related to like spiritual stuff, or kind of like more like the media stuff?
Oh yeah, both of them.
Both of them. I can send you a link for a presentation I did a while back. That's like about kind of like the mindset of getting started as a conscious media creator. If you want to listen to that, that's something. I mean, there's like, that's a whole topic in itself, just in terms of like spiritual creators and YouTubers and everything like that. I don't know if anybody has like, honestly, I don't watch a lot of like YouTube that much these days and everything like that. A lot of my attention is kind of like on Instagram and TikTok. My favorite YouTuber is Kristen, that's for sure. I'll just say that. But I mean, there's definitely a lot out there. I do actually have, actually what I can do, George, I can give you a list of like an index of creators.
Yeah, awesome.
Find that. I have to find where that link is, but I do have like a link of of like it's like an Excel sheet with like a bunch of creators on it, and I would encourage you to just kind of go through and check that out. Like, are you on TikTok, George?
Yeah, with the same name tag.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Do I have that somewhere? I feel like. Well, I'll post this. This is the tiny URL for our members video. So that's like a lot of the team. Okay. You guys are welcome to check that out. Again, we do have our Discord server, so I would definitely connect to the Discord server. That's in my beacons as well, and I'll post that link. And if I can find that, I'm trying to, what did I, conscious creator list? Conscious creator. I forget what the tiny URL is that I have, but I did have a tiny URL. Okay, I'll find this and then we'll be done in a minute. Discord, calendar, dream class. Yeah, I don't even know. I can't remember. Oh, I know how to find it though. I'll post it here in a second. So, but yeah, we're just about done. Okay. TikTok, I'll just create this. Here, that's one list that's more TikTok creators.
Okay.
And that's like something that you can open up and just kind of go through that. And then I do have one other list, I think, somewhere. I'm not sure where it is. That's all right. I'm not going to spend too much time looking for it right now. So, okay. All right. But yeah, there's definitely stuff on there. And honestly, George, I would even just, again, you know, on TikTok, just like running searches on like hashtag spiritual TikTok and stuff like that. And just kind of like see who's on there, because I think there's a lot of creators to be able to explore just by using the hashtags, and, you know, just kind of like check out the ones that you resonate with. So,
Okay.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yeah, Kristen, go for it.
If you're just looking for like good spiritual stuff, I really like Teal Swan, Alan Watts, and Ekua.
Yeah.
Are like good bases to start from.
Yeah, listen to some good Alan Watts. Listen to some Ram Dass. Like that. Like honestly, like that's my recommendation. Like go back to like the kind of like the OG conscious creators. Go listen to some Terrence McKenna as well. So, there was a list that I have, but I can't seem to find it right now.
Thanks.
No problem. Okay. All right. Okay. Well, with that said, is there anything else that anybody, like even just any quick gratitude you guys want to be able to share, and then we'll wrap it up here. And this has been awesome. I've gotten a lot of valuable notes from this that will help with the future dojos. So cool.
I'm grateful for this space and the ability to connect with all of you beautiful souls, and just the ability to gain wisdom, and yeah, this has been really lovely. Thank you, Brendon, and thank you everybody else.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you as well. And thank you everyone for joining. So cool. Awesome. So again, George, Ekua, if you guys want to connect to the Discord, if you haven't yet, I would highly recommend that. And again, if you guys want to join on the Patreon, definitely check that out. Again, it's an $11 monthly thing, but with that, I can definitely spend more time with you guys, helping you guys build your communities and everything like that. And it's like, it's no commitment. You can try it out. And if you need to like cancel your subscription or anything like that, it's super flexible. Again, like think of joining on the Patreon as like an energetic investment in yourself, and then be like, this is you saying like fuck yes to the universe and being like, yeah, I'm gonna do this. And then with that, we can kind of like set up some more time and you guys can get involved. We do have like other sessions during the week where it's just kind of like a check-in session, and it's a chance for us to just kind of, similar to what we're doing here, to be able to just kind of share where we're at relative to our communities and our content. Ask me and the team any other questions. And then, yeah, next week on Thursday, our team podcast is Spiritual Wisdom of Being a Conscious Media Creator, which will be for members. And then the Conscious Creator Dojos, I'm going to create the schedule for that in the coming weeks, but I think I'm going to do those in a way where it's going to be like free to join the first one, and then it will be like members after, like each person can join their first one free, but then after that, it's like you have to be a member to join the other ones as well. So yeah, if you guys have any questions about that or anything, just feel free to let me know, and keep an eye open for any updates as I post them. And does anybody have any questions right now, just before we wrap this up? All good? Cool. Well, thank you guys so much. This has been wonderful. I love just being able to hang out and share the collective inspiration of what it is we're creating here. And thank you on behalf of the universe for putting yourself out there and inspiring each other. It's super, super important. We're literally changing the world by changing individual lives. And yeah, we'll wrap it up here. And until next time. And do you guys want to do a quick screenshot? Even though like there are other people here, but is that okay with you guys? Quick screenshot? Okay, cool. Everybody just kind of like big smiles, awkward smiles. There we go. Okay. I'll post that into the Discord, and I'll just put a little tag there as well. And I might share it to my IG. And yeah, we'll keep in touch. Feel free to DM me. And if you know other creators that might be interested in what we're doing, feel free to let them know. And yeah, we'll go from there. So have an awesome day, everybody. I love you guys. You guys did awesome today. I'm so proud of you. And yeah, we'll talk soon enough. All right, take care. Bye.
Bye.